back. We're only tuning in about 20 minutes overdue, but we also keep changing the time on you, I feel like.
True.
That's just the thing that happens.
I mean, this is essentially we are very much how do we put this? Sort of like how Take the Bridge Invitational, like all this the first half of February has been like underground, like unsanctioned. You never know when it's going to happen, where it's going to happen. That's what's happened to Mountain Outpost Pod. So thank you all for being here. Welcome to Mountain Outpost Podcast.
Well, we got 6 people. We're welcoming. We actually have such an awkward intro last week, and we put the call out to the viewers, to the listeners, and we said something to the effect of, we need an intro. Is that what it was? We need an intro song.
Yeah, we need to formalize our intro, which again still isn't super tight, as is evidenced by the last 68 seconds. But
yep,
I think you got something in mind.
We got something for you. So we had a viewer of the show come in. He was in town from South Carolina, and he ran the Elephant Mountain 50 mile. He sent us this and came in and recorded it. So we've got ourselves an official intro. We're going to play it for you right now.
Run steep, get high. Run flat, stay low. Run mountain, run the road. Run past each stand to the commode. Oh, run steep, get high. Run flat, stay low. One stream, 2 guys. Mountain Outpost. Now here's your host.
Yeah.
Bill, 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 Bill.
I love it. Love it.
That's solid.
That was so good. And we had to thank John. I want to make sure I get his last name correct. So forgive me for 1 second. Who's on the mountain? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he came from South Carolina all the way for Elephant Mountain. John Heinzen, you can find him at Dude Rambler on Instagram. So he just messaged us this last week, and he also immediately after coming here to the pod, to our office, he got himself, if you can see that, maybe not super clear, Elephant Mountain tattoo on his calf. So he's a super committed. We got some people, highly questionable intro. We got someone that says beautiful. So we're probably going to dress that up a little bit, have more of an official video introduction for the pod. It's crowdsourced. It's legit. It is viewer provided, and we love it. So we feel like we're official. Anyways, I'm one of your hosts, Jam, Jamil Curry. We got to at least say that part of it. And we got Skizzle Fresh over here.
What's up? Yeah, it seems pretty important that we actually introduce the Mountain Outpost pod. So thank you all for joining. If you're live in the chat on YouTube, then make sure you drop us some love and some questions in the chat. If you're watching this later on, feel free to comment below if you're watching on YouTube, or just shoot us an email, hit us on the gram, hit us on Twitter, because you know what? This is for you guys. We got to give the people what they want. Yeah.
If you guys follow Mountain Outpost on Instagram, you can enjoy all of our weekly Pinata Farms videos. So I dropped a new one on Skyler this week. And how you feeling about that one, buddy?
Okay, listen. Why am I always the one who's getting dragged in these Pinata Farms videos? It's always like
am I always dragging you through the challenges here? Is that what it is?
I mean, listen. I feel like we spent a lot of time on the unicorn frappuccinos, and it's a sore spot. Yeah. Mostly in my stomach, but it's a sore spot for me personally. That was a hard challenge. So, let's just, had some rough challenges. I don't talk to you about when you actually projectile vomited during chili pepper goo. I don't bring that up all the time. So
this shows me what I need to do. I need to add more elements into Pinata Farms so I have them at my fingertips. Cause right now pretty much the only thing I have is your face, my son's face, and then unicorn frappuccino. So I gotta get some fire chili goos. I mean, there's so many amazing graphics from that first season that I just need to take a little bit of time and go grab them all and start dropping some bombs.
That makes sense. Yeah, not that we have any time this week whatsoever, but we will get that to the people soon enough because, I think that's what the people want. They want you to also suffer. It shouldn't just be one-sided.
Yeah, I mean, I can. I think we need to make sure you have the login to the Instagram as well, and you can make some hot takes as well.
Yeah, yes, with all of my copious amounts of free time. Yeah, I'm really gonna go with it.
Sounds great. We'll get some. We'll equal it out. We'll equal it out for sure. I'm definitely gonna make a chili goo. I think that would be a fun one.
Just not you vomiting, because I don't need to see that one so much. But let's see the suffer face. That pain face was terrifying in person when we did it, but hilarious in retrospect.
Oh man. So what are we drinking? What are we drinking tonight? Sorry, we were both jumping in here.
Yeah, no.
I was like, yeah, go ahead.
What do I have here? I have a beer from Oakland United, California represent. It's the Queensberry Rules Wee Heavy. So I don't know if I can try to get the graphic there.
Oh.
So that's what I'm bringing to the table, because that's pretty much what my body feels like this past week, is just jacked up and beat up. So I feel like I don't know if the beer itself is going to help that so much, but this is a good personification of my emotional state right now. So that's what I'm going with. What do you got?
John Heiner, the one that recorded that jingle for us at the start of the show, he brought me from, I guess, where he lives in Charleston, South Carolina. This is from the Jameson Hard Cider Company. It says Ship's Wheel Dry Hopped Hard Cider. So crisp aromatic hops blend. And that's what I'm going for tonight. So
sweet.
That's what we got going on. A little bit about this show. If this is your first time listening in or tuning in, just a couple guys here talking about running. Skyler likes to come from the, as you can see, Run Flat Stay Low world, providing us with some commentary and updates on the road track scene, but of course is also into all things running, trail ultra stuff as well. I bring a little bit of a mountain perspective to the scene, and we'll just get into it, talk about all kinds of things tonight. And as always, if you guys have questions, drop them in the chat room. We'll get to them. This week's show is going to be all about Black Canyon preview. Here we are, race week, and for a minute there, we weren't sure if this race was going to happen or happen at least on the Black Canyon Trail. Kind of behind the scenes, we talked a little bit last week about what we went through as an organization. My company, Aravaipa, puts the event on, and with the additional restrictions from one of the counties, we have no crew that is really in Yavapai County. So the first 45 miles of the course will be crew and spectator free. It'll just be the runners, and they're spread out in waves over the course of like 4 hours. We've cut our field in half, and we've split the 100K and 60K to 2 different days. And we're going to be doing a live stream. So us two will be hosting this thing right here in the Aravaipa Steep Life Media Studios here in Phoenix. And we've got a team of media people, I guess I call them, our media team. We have some drone pilots. We have some people that are going to be on course at different points, providing a little bit of an insight into the day at Black Canyon. We're going to try and bring as much to you as we can, provide some entertaining commentary, and hopefully we'll see some fast times. We've got some great athletes joining us. So many, in fact, it was quite stressful. I think maybe one of the most stressful thing has been the wave assignments in the last week. And for anyone out there that is an elite runner or just a runner joining us for Black Canyon, I just have to apologize in advance if, you didn't get the exact wave you hoped for. I wish we could accommodate everyone. We have generally 30 places per wave. We bumped the elite waves to 40 just because there was so much talent. But we have a hard cap. We can't have more than 50 people in one area at this event. So we've got to keep it spread out, and we got to follow those guidelines. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having a race this Saturday. So I appreciate everyone's patience in this. And we've heard some of your feedback. We hope to improve the wave seeding process in the future to make sure we don't miss anyone that should be on that start line at wave 1 or wave 3 or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And we'll get into it in depth for the folks. Just for those who either aren't racing or haven't looked at the spec sheet, wave 1 is the elite men, wave 2 is the elite women, wave 3 is mostly the second tier of men, but there are a few women thrown in. Wave 4, it sort of kind of goes general pop at that point. And as I was trying to walk through my like commentary readiness sheet, I could definitely see there were some folks who on Ultra Sign Up have 1 result, 2 results, no results that were in the early waves. So I can only imagine what their applications to you were to move up. But the rest of it pretty much just looks like Ultra Sign Up percentages, which is hit or miss, and that's a little hard,
Totally. And like this whole COVID era, and especially a COVID era race that's this competitive, going for golden tickets, it hasn't really happened yet. We had Bandera, but I don't think Bandera was this stacked by any means. Having like this many guys and gals vying for the top. We had an elite submission form, so people were able to provide their resumes. The other thing we're trying to accommodate behind the scenes is, buddy requests. So people want to, they're traveling with someone to the event. They want to toe the line or like coordinate their drop-offs together. We wanted to accommodate those. And unfortunately, sometimes because of those link ups, we had to, maybe they were in wave 5, but they had to be pushed to wave 6 because they had a large group that wanted to kind of start at the same time. Mm-hmm. So we did try and seed generally by Ultra Sign Up ranking. It gives us a rough guide of faster to slower runners. Just, that's how it works. And we want to minimize the passing on the trail. So that was the reason for doing that. I think maybe one thing we could have considered, especially for the elites, to make sure we didn't have someone slip through the cracks, would be an ITRA performance index. And that's something we thought of after the fact, actually just, I think yesterday or today. So I actually think that is potentially a great tool going forwards. It's something in the past that mostly UTMB or like a European type race would be using. But I think it could be pretty valuable for some of these US races trying to seed and rank runners. And, we had actually quite a few runners, be like, hey, my performance ranking is this. Can I move up a wave? And it's like, wow, that is like a pretty good marker. And I think probably more accurate than Ultra Sign Up ranking for sure in terms of like your performance. Cause it doesn't, if you have like a really crappy race, it doesn't like downgrade your entire ranking. Like if you go find me on Ultra Sign Up, I am a director of a few races, and like I'll go run across the years one year and I'm out there working for 6-10 days and I have an ankle around my chip or a chip around my ankle, something like that. It's Tuesday night, right? One cider deep. So yeah, out there working, and some years I'm so busy that I get like 6 miles or 8 miles recorded in the course of 10 days. It sounds impossible to have that few of miles, but it did happen quite a few times. And then when that goes up against Joe Fiji's or some of these people that get 600 miles in 6 days, I get like a 0.1 rank, 0.2 ranking or 0.05 ranking, and I just tank. So my Ultra Sign Up ranking is just massacred. I have like a 71 now. Just anyways, I'm not saying 71's bad by any means, but like,
it's not indicative.
Probably like races I actually try at, it's probably like 70 to 90 is like more of an average, meaning I would probably tend towards an 85, 87 if you take out the like 1 and 2 and 3% races that I have, which I have a ton of those on my account. So anyways, that was just maybe an offshoot tangent, but
I think it's important from like the operational standpoint when you're thinking through how do you assign ways in an event like this, especially when we have limited field sizes, because taking it even a step further, one of the interesting things is I was looking through the entrance list on Ultra Sign Up is like how far down Walmsley is. Like Walmsley himself, the American record holder, near world record holder in the 100K, he's ranked 11th, 10th or 11th.
Ultra sign up wise
for Black Canyon. And
then
I don't think anybody is looking like, hey, the person who was 2-time Ultra Runner of the Year is actually the 11th best person in this field. And so it just goes to show that like pretty much anyone can sort of have fluky results and situations in Ultra sign up. So you were more, for those of you at home, you were more than your Ultra sign up percentage.
Yeah, please don't live and die by your Ultra sign up ranking. Yeah, I mean, Elephant Mountain 50 mile, I ran that on this past Saturday. And I mean, I started in wave 2, you know, no special treatment. I was in wave 2, was able to catch up to some people in wave 1, but just kind of how it goes. But yeah, like Jim Walmsley, I think he's probably ranked number 1 on ITRA performance. So it just kind of, I think there's going to be a shift towards ITRA performance rankings. I think that, you know, it's a global standard. And I think it's going to take some time. I think more US races need to buy into that process in order for it to make sense, because they have to submit their results. And I think they might have to be sanctioned in order to do it. We should do a whole show on ITRA. I mean, I am technically the national representative, so I'm going to brush up on all my skills, and we're going to do like a knowledge session maybe in a couple weeks, because next week we're going to have a special show, but we can talk about that later.
Okay. So it shall be done. Yeah, no, we'll definitely dig into it. Do you want to, should we go through some news from the week that was, or do we just want to get straight into the preview? What's on?
What do you think?
Actually, you know what? There's one question that got submitted to me on Twitter or Instagram, one of the two, which if you don't follow us on social, you should, because that's where you can also submit questions ahead of time. Somebody had a very specific question about how your Elephant Mountain 50 mile training run went. So since you talked about the fact that you did it, what went into it and how'd it go?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it went pretty well. Last year I ran it. If you saw on the Run Steep Get High channel, I made a video of my run last year. So I was, you know, filming myself, you know, set the camera down. We talked about this, set the camera down, run past it, turn around, pick it up. And then I had carried a little tiny Mavic Mini drone for the Northern Loop in the Tonto National Forest. And I think I flew 3 or 4 times. So I had to stop, you know, take it out of my pack, fly it, land it, keep running, whatnot. It's cool. I made an awesome video, but wanted to take it a little more seriously this year. So yeah, I got there, started at 6:05 a.m. in the dark with there were 15 people per wave. We started out running. I felt really, really strong out of the gate. I think a lot of my treadmill running lately has really helped that. Just kind of, you know, jogging along at 6 miles per hour at 6% grade, you just kind of, my legs kept turning over. So that felt pretty good early on. Definitely probably around like 30, 35 miles. I didn't really want to eat anymore. So I kind of stopped doing that and then kind of running on fumes, and at some point I just didn't really care about my time or pace. I just kind of kept moving forward. But overall, I mean, it was a strong day. It was 9.5 hours on the feet, basically. My longest run in a really long time. I don't even know when I've run. The last time I ran 50 miles, I can't remember. It was so long ago. I really have no idea at this point. So I think it was great. It's a bunch of miles in the bank. I love that course out there. It's a really rugged, beautiful, awesome course. Treated as a training run. Black Canyon week, I already knew was going to be a down week, and it's already turning out to be that way. I'm not going to get a lot of running in this week, unfortunately. So just treating it as a recovery week. And yeah, next week I'm heading to Tennessee. So as soon as Black Canyon's over Monday morning, I'll be out of here for a week, and I'm going to be spending 5 days in Frozen Head, basically running like sun up to sundown, essentially, or when the park opens, which is like 8 a.m. there until sundown, just be outdoors all day. And that'll be a nice big block, Barkley Boot Camp.
Sweet.
Yeah. So that was the thing. Like our show next week, I'll be recording from Tennessee.
I feel like the one thing that's very consistent about our show is that we are never in the same place twice. Like we just keep moving around.
Yeah.
Even in the same city, it's like home versus studio. And
I mean, next 2 weeks from now, I might just like go on the other side of the room in this office here. Who knows?
Yeah, it was basically an 8-day period where people are going to see us in 3 different states total, and together for the first time since we started this. So it'll be fun. It'll be a good time. All right. So you know what? Since we're already off topic, I'm just going to run through news real quick, and then people can.
Sounds good.
We'll just run through it. It's a short news week, and especially because some folks actually wrote in because they wanted me to cover some things. So I'm here for you. Thinking about the shorter stuff, track, especially the indoor track stuff, we had a high school mile record set this past weekend, 3:57.66 by Hobbs Kessler. His previous PR officially was like a 4:21 1600, but apparently, like right when the pandemic hit, he started training, ran like a 4:08 time trial with Nick Willis. Nick Willis, yes. And so that's a person who's broken for 19 consecutive years. And so clearly got a good coaching setup, got a good training setup. And he showed up to the American Track League this week and just like took 3rd place overall with a new high school record. So shout out to him. And he will be at NAU next year. I got another world record from Ryan Krauser in the shot put. So clearly in an Olympic year, he's about to dominate. Looking forward to it. We have a crazy altitude adjustment in the NCAA. So for the, if you're unfamiliar, if you're above like the 5,000 foot threshold at distance, all of your times are altitude adjusted to be faster. At sprints, they're altitude adjusted to be slower just because that's how thinner air works apparently. And a kid from Colorado State, Eric Hammer, ran at Colorado College of the Mines in Golden, Colorado. His altitude adjusted time was 13:36. He ran a 14:16 officially in this meet, and they chopped off 40 seconds from his 5K. So altitude adjustments are nuts. If we are to believe that is exactly how that math should work out, that makes him 35 seconds faster than every other person in the NCAA right now. So take it with a grain of salt, but apparently that guy at Colorado State's the place to be right now. Who'd have thought? That's the Mecca. So look out for that. We had a thing, Mo. A couple weeks ago, she set the collegiate 800 record. She then runs a 50.52 400 meter. Open 400 meter this past weekend, which is also like a second faster than any other woman in the NCAA circuit. So going in again into an Olympic year, she's somebody who's done USA championships before. There's a real possibility that we could see somebody try the 400, 800 double, which doesn't happen a lot. You see a lot of 2-4, you see a lot of like 8, maybe 15, but again, those are 2 events that involve a lot of rounds. So we're seeing somebody who's about to dominate the college scene this year, and would not surprise me if she ends up going pro after this season. But something to watch for. Definitely a lot of young upstarts in the college ranks right now. And then other things from the track world today. A random Tuesday, there was a World Indoor Classic. We saw a world record in the women's 1500. Segai ran 3:53.91, 3:53.01, 3:53.09. See, I have notes to make sure I don't mess this up. 3:53.09. Obviously, indoors, you typically see the full mile run more often than the 1500, but that's still 2 seconds off of the indoor 1500 and only 3 seconds behind the outdoor world record, which if somebody's running 3:53 in early February and everybody's peaking for late July, early August in the Olympics, interesting. It's a good place to be right now. So that's awesome. We also saw Grant Holloway in the 60-meter hurdles, 7.32 seconds over 42-inch hurdles, 0.02 behind the world record. So he set the American record. He also in a great position in this Olympic year to sort of bring American dominance back to the high hurdle events, so long as he stays healthy. So shout out to him. It's going to be very interesting to see what he does, and if he takes out that indoor world record before he makes his move outdoor soon. A lot of outdoor news coming later this month. More of the fields were released for the Texas qualifier happening, where folks are just trying to either get their Olympic trial standard or get the Olympic standard itself. A lot of cool dudes, a lot of very fast women going to be in that. So we'll preview that in a couple of weeks as it gets closer, but get excited. The rest of this month is going to be absolutely insane for the track world. And lastly, and somebody mentioned this specifically and they wanted my take on it, Colleen Quigley, most known as a Bowerman babe, Bowerman Track Club, top 3 steepler year in and year out for America, Fast Braid Friday, connoisseur, abruptly left the Bowerman Track Club last week. Just like on Thursday was like, all right, I'm out, like deuces. Everybody else from the group had left sort of in the first couple weeks of January. So it kind of came as a shock. She did race this past weekend at the Prickly Pear Invitational, which is basically a glorified time trial meet in the Phoenix area. She did represent a Phoenix nonprofit on her singlet. So shout out to her for showing some love to the community, especially because she lives in Portland and not Phoenix. So she didn't have to do that, but that was great for her. She's allegedly still sponsored by Nike. So it's unclear if she's going to end up at Oregon Track Club or one of the other official Nike outlets, or if she's going to do what Kate Grace did when she left Bowerman, maybe go to a Team Boss. Very unclear. Like, it was literally like day 3 or day 4 of this saga. Hasn't been announced yet. She's still in Phoenix training as the rest of the Bowerman women are, but she's not with them. Don't know if there's some drama. Some people are saying it might be some drama between her and Shelby Houlihan that led to this whole thing. I don't know. There's no Desperate Housewives of the Bowerman Track Club, but that's where we're at. So if she ends up with Team Boss, would not surprise me. If she stays with Nike, I don't see her going to North Carolina and joining that like forthcoming Puma outfit. I don't think there's a club that she would necessarily go to Boulder for, not like a Roots Running or anything like that. She can't go to the On Track Club. So I don't really know. There's not a lot of full groups for her to land with. So if anybody, if I'm betting on like a Team Boss situation, unless she goes completely solo. But or her Nike contract just abruptly got canceled, then that's a whole nother can of worms we got to unpack. But that's basically the Run Flat Stay Mellow news of the world.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you. Done. All right. Now everybody's caught up on the things that aren't Black Canyon.
We got a few questions in the chat. Maybe we should kind of get those out of the way, and then we can move into Black Canyon. Let's see. Hey guys, thanks for all you do. This is from Nora Blyle from Facebook. Appreciate very much all the podcast inspiration. I did my own ultra around Prescott, probably in the snow. I saw it was pretty snowy up there. Listened to three podcasts on the run and just loved listening to you guys. Both of you are inspiring and you keep my mind off what I was doing. Thank you. By the way, I'm drinking a Moscow Mule and it's going down very good. That sounds like a nice recovery drink right there.
That is awesome. I support that wholeheartedly.
That's from Norb.
Congrats, buddy.
We had a question. Are you broadcasting from Frozen Head next week? And we just touched on that. I will be in Tennessee. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 858 comments here. When at Frozen Head, are you allowed to post to Strava if you stay on the public trails? Yeah, I mean, you're supposed to stay on the public trails anyways. So, but sometimes I don't choose to post my Strava from like Barkley Week, just to keep it a little stealthy on the training load. So we'll just see what happens there. Is Gary Robbins doing Barkley this year? So he just posted, I think if you do follow Gary on Strava, and assuming he wasn't like doing stealth training, you would know that he hasn't really been ramping up at all. He's been running faster and flatter. Actually, he was training for a 10K and he ran a pretty good time. I think it was like 34, something like that. Anyways, he announced he's not coming to Barkley this year. And I think it's due to the border restrictions and everything he'd have to go through, coming back across the border, especially. Barkley itself has quite a few restrictions this year, especially in terms of COVID-related matters and who's even allowed to be there. So it's very tightly controlled, and the field is going to be it'll be very interesting to see who actually toes the line and shows up this year. I mean, I as an entrant, I mean, I'm telling you I am, but there's no public entrance list, so I don't even know who else is actually in or not, even as an entrant who is. Jeff Elliott says, Colin Quigley just had a video on the Olympic Channel about the steeplechase. Did you catch that one?
I did not. No, here's the thing. The women's steeplechase in America is insane. Like, you basically know who the top three are, and like Alio's on the outside trying to threaten. So if it's probably the most scratch, like we know what's going to happen event at the Olympic trials for America, but this news of Colin Quigley switching groups might actually threaten that. So there's a lot to unpack. We'll see how that affects everything moving forward.
Do we want to get into Black Canyon now?
I think it's time. I think that's what the people want.
Yeah.
So Black Canyon, special in our hearts also to Jamil's sleep cycle this time of year. The second golden ticket race for Western States. Let's back up slightly. So 2020, some of these first golden ticket races occurred. Bandera occurred, Black Canyon occurred, and then things started shutting down. So just like from those folks who got golden tickets last year, did those roll over? How does that play, and how does that affect who might be towing the line this year?
Yeah, great question. So, I mean, there's we can just talk in general, how do you get into Western States, which is like, quote unquote, the oldest 100-mile race, the founding one, the most famous one, you could argue. And they have the lottery that happens every year. The top 10 men and women get invited back. There's some sponsor slots that are available. It's part of the Ultra Trail World Tour. So there are entries specifically usually for international elite runners, top ITRA performers that request via the Ultra Trail World Tour, UTWT, to get in. So they have to submit. So there's quite a few runners that got in that way. So they end up, putting together one of the best, most competitive fields in the calendar year in the sport of ultra running, especially at the 100-mile distance. You could argue maybe only UTMB is more competitive, which is, I think, the second largest 100-mile race in the world after Diagonal de Fou. But back in the day, the Golden Ticket Series started under Montreal. It was the Montreal Ultra Cup. And then it just became, and like you got golden tickets, and then it just became Golden Ticket Series. And now it's Hoka Golden Ticket races because they're now sponsoring Western States. And of course, now like Big's Backyard has kind of co-opted the golden ticket mentality and so on and so forth. But typically in a standard year, there are 5 events that are part of the Golden Ticket Race Series. In the past, like 2019, I think it was Bandera, Black Canyon, Georgia Death Race, Canyons, Lake Sonoma. And Lake Sonoma was a little weird because at some point they changed the qualifications. Back when I started applying for Western States, which was, I think, 2006 or 7, maybe 7, I don't know. You just had to run a 50-mile race under a certain time. And I think it might have been under 11 hours or something. But it could have been the most pancake flat 50-miler with like 10 people in it, just like your local thing around a park. It wasn't, super taxing to qualify for Western States. They wanted to make it pretty approachable for anyone. You could just go and run and get in. And then they upped it at some point to 100Ks and certain 100Ks and then certain other 100-milers and stuff. A little bit of a tangent there, but now, once the pandemic hit, they had already given out the tickets for Bandera, for Black Canyon, and then none of the other races happened. So they didn't give out any more tickets in 2020. And then they circled back, and for 2021, those remaining let's see, 4 tickets per race. So 12 more tickets are going out at Bandera. So a month ago, we had Katie Asmuth and Aaron Clark. They got golden tickets, and Ryan Miller and Cody Lind. And we got Black Canyon this weekend. So we got 4 tickets to give away, top 2 men, top 2 women that aren't already in Western States. It does roll down. I think we saw a question on Twitter. So that will roll down to, it says here, it'll slide to 3rd place, 4th place, and 5th place as needed. No place below 5th will be accepted. So that's good to know. And probably in the case of that, let's say there's like a bunch of guys that already had it, or gals, it would roll down probably just on the Western States wait list, I would imagine. Or they might have an additional pick for special consideration or UTWT, who knows? I'm not sure. The Canyons is the final race, and that is scheduled for April 24th. Right now, I'm pretty sure there's no California races happening whatsoever, and maybe unless there's 10 people involved, I have no idea. But it doesn't seem very promising. So fortunately, it seems like case counts are continuing to fall for COVID right now. So that's good. But does that mean that California is going to open up and allow sporting events with people traveling in from all over the place? We're just not sure right now. So that's kind of like the long-winded recap.
Yeah. I feel good about California opening up races to some degree by then. This isn't me putting on my official work hat. This is me putting on my I coach for a high school in California hat. And the fact that they are now allowing practices and competitions within your county for like cross-country, track, basically non-contact outdoor sports. Because at least all the counties are in the purple tier, which is like the most restricted tier. And then hopefully we start moving more towards orange and yellow and the less restrictions. And I think that will allow for the field sizes to be larger. Because as it currently stands, if we can have kids running in a cross-country race, we should be able to do a trail race with adults, but it just really depends on the county of residence and like what's happening in that area and where things go. So yeah, I would say that the hope is significantly higher now than it was like 2.5 weeks ago, but we'll obviously have to stay tuned to that because it affects both Lake Sonoma and Canyons and ultimately
and
Western States.
Yeah, we just had that comment in the chat room here. How confident are we that Western States will go on? I think they're hopeful. I was just on a UTWT annual meeting last night at midnight, which was 8 a.m. Paris time, and Craig Thornley was on there. You know, a bunch of the races on the tour, you know, they're canceled in 2020. And right now, like there's a ton of spring races that are all canceling or postponing. You know, one race that is happening is Tarawera is happening this weekend, I think also. So they've got, I think they said they had a couple thousand athletes. I'm assuming they're all locals for the most part, no international travel, or maybe just other close countries or something. So yeah, we'll just have to see. Jem Rooney in the chat says, hello from my lunch break at work. What's up? What Aerovival 100 would you recommend for your first attempt? It depends like what you like. I mean, Javelina I think is a great one. We only really have 3, I think. Coldwater, Javelina, and then Mogollon Monster. If you like mountain stuff, Mogollon Monster is awesome. So I think it just depends what you like. I
mean, across the years, also fine. So
that's also true. You could also choose across the years, or like Fat Ox 48 hour is a good one. That's an Ardini series that's like completely flat. Even across the years has like a 4-foot tall hill or something like that.
If you want to be completely supported every like 10 to 20 minutes, go the time to race route. It makes your life a lot easier, especially when you fall apart like I have on several occasions.
Exactly. All right. So we've covered the history of the golden tickets. We've covered what's going on this year with golden tickets. And now we're here. We're finally here. Who's going to get the golden tickets? Who's going to make it to Western States? Is Jim Walmsley going to bounce back from Carbon X2 and make it all the way from Spring Valley down 62 miles of the Black Canyon Trail and cross that line first or second? at Emory Henderson Trailhead in New River. What's going to happen out there, Skyler?
Yeah, okay, listen, I'm not in the prediction business. I'm just out here trying to make sure the folks are informed. So when they're harassing us on the live stream for 10 hours on Saturday, they're doing so from a place of knowledge and not just pontificating with no sort of background. So it is important before we even get into this. It's great that Jim wants to run Black Canyon. Folks are asking why he would do it. He declined his auto entry after winning in 2019. So he was actually not going to be on the start line in 2020 as the returning champion. He was focusing on comrades. And so if he wants to be back in the big dance this year, he actually does need to secure his ticket back in.
What happened to his spot? He declined it, and then someone drew in the lottery.
Yeah,
probably,
pretty much how it goes.
Yeah.
I mean, there might have been a way for him to get in on UTWT. I don't know exactly how that point system worked, but because 2020, he had declined the ticket already, and he probably would have been first then. So I don't think he then gets to retroactively say, hey, let me get that ticket. And then 2020 didn't have a lot of races. So the folks that we typically would think would win the UTWT might not have necessarily been in that position. All that's the background. So now let's talk about the men, because you started with that. And I'm actually going to refer over to the good folks at Treeline Journal who do some great work. They've actually written a preview here. So I'm just going to cite some of the names, and we'll talk about some of the additional folks that we're thinking and give you guys a little background into how we're going to be commentating for Saturday. So Treeline Journal, independent viewers, so folks who aren't race directors, folks who are not involved in the production of this, they have cited their top men to watch as the King Cowboy himself, Mr. Jim Walmsley, Tyler Greene from Portland, Oregon, Seth Ruling from Chattanooga, Tennessee, Justin Grunwald, Eric Sensman, and Jeff Stern. Those are their top 6 that they have listed. They've got an in the mix list of an additional 18 or 20 runners. And that's pretty much how I'm also looking at this. So in terms of the men, I'm not going to go into who Walmsley is. That the real question is whether or not he can bounce back from Carbon X2. He said on, I think, the Let's Run podcast that he did before Carbon X2, that in his mind, even at quasi fitness and being quasi in race shape, so being broken down after Carbon X2, he should be able to saunter through and still have a chance at being competitive at Black Canyon. That was his thought process before missing a world record by 20 seconds, but that was his thought process going in. So there's a very real chance that Jim shows up and tries to put in some work. Sensman is an interesting flyer here. He hasn't raced in over a year. He's got a sick new hairdo, which we all saw on the Carbon X2 feed. And there, he has the sort of home field advantage, right? We see a lot of these Flagstaff guys able to come down and train significantly on the course, know it very well. Sensman has qualified to Western States twice through Black Canyon. And so, in terms of just course knowledge and how to push himself, he's one to watch, especially when you couple him with potentially being able to team up with Jim in that situation.
Sensman, he has just such a storied history with this race. Is it twice that he qualified?
Yeah. So he, hold on, I actually wrote this down. He was 3rd place in 2017 and 2019. So actually, I think he missed it one time at BC and then had to come back at Lake Sonoma. But
no, I think he missed it twice at BC. Because then the third time was the charm. Because he has because he was the whole series of our videos for the 3 different years. He missed it the first time. I think he missed it again. And then he came back and got it the 3rd time. But he's never run the full course. Oh no, he DNF'd one time.
He did DNF one time.
He was sick. He showed up sick.
That was the one where he ended up showing up. Yep. And that's when he went to Lake Sonoma.
Yeah, he had to go. So he has this storied history. So the first year, it was the insane, first crazy weather year.
That was the out and back year.
Out and back, finished back at the start line at Mare High, and he was behind Elov and Alex Nichols, and like missed it by like a minute or something, and they were like all battling in the mix. That was the one where Frericks blew up. Came back next year, he was sick, like all primed and ready, sick. That's the year Frericks won. He dropped, had to go to Sonoma to get the ticket, and he's got the like roar face or whatever at the finish, and he comes back. And then it was the other alternate year where we had to do kind of the triple out and back, ending in Black Canyon City. And so he got his golden ticket. And then last year he didn't run and volunteered, and that was the full course again. And so he's like attempted Black Canyon 3 times. He's been part of this storyline for 5 years. He's still never like run all the way from Mayer to Emory Henderson, like the full point to point, but he's going to get it on Saturday. And how sweet would it be to like run top 2 or to win the damn race and like get his full, that'd be it. It'd be a pretty epic storyline. So like either way, we're going to be like watching Senseman all day to see how his race plays out. And it's kind of unknown. Like you said, he hasn't raced in 13 months. So, you know, who knows where he's at.
Yeah, so he's definitely be interesting to watch, and all of his training, it looks like he's in shape and he's in prime position. So that'll be very fun. Seth Ruling, for those who that might not be a familiar name to, he has won Stump Jump 50K twice. He's also the 2019 winner of JFK, so he's got a storied history. He does have Lake Sonoma as a backup plan, according to Ultra Sign Up, and he signed up for Broken Arrow. So no matter what, he's planning on being in the Lake Tahoe area come Western States time. So he's ready to rock. Tyler Greene won Bandera in 2019. He was second place at Javelina in 2019. Won Cascade Crest in 2019, and it was like
14:02 at Javelina. So that's some speed.
Yeah, no, he threw down behind what course record, winner there. So he was definitely moving. And then that same year in 2019, he was 14th at Western State. So not a bad day at the office, but definitely didn't get that auto qualifier back in. So he's back for redemption. Grunwald, he won the Wild Duluth 50K last year, second place at Way Too Cool last year, 7th place at Bandera last year. And, just been on a tear. He did that FKT in Hawaii last year that was like super technical. So definitely one to watch. And then there are some other folks in the mix that are going to be very entertaining to see how they play out. We have a lot of seasoned vets combined with a lot of upstarts who, for some of these folks, is their first 100K distance or really anything over a 50K. We've got Brian Whitfield. He won Moab Red Hot 55K last year. We've got Charles McNulty. He was second place at Tushers and third place at the Speedgoat 25K. He was also 5th place at Miwok 100K in 2019. So he's got some hidden potential and definitely flying under the radar a little bit. We've got Ben Adkins from Westlake Village, California. He won last year's edition of the San Diego 50, and he was 8th place at this race at Black Canyon last year. So again, somebody who knows the course. And 2020 was actually a hyper competitive year for both the men and the women. So that's that 8th place means something pretty significant. Who else we got? We got Craig Hunt, another person trying to bounce back from Hoka's Carbon X2 event. He took 6th place in 6:55.42.
Where's Raj at? We need to get Raj out here, man.
Raj just did a podcast with the Morning Shakeout, I think, is what I saw today. So I haven't got a chance to listen to it yet. But yeah, I just want to see those flowing locks.
Yeah, we got to get him out to a trail race now. I mean, he's got to step up.
And knowing me, he's going to somehow find out about the fact that I'm in love with his hair and then call me out when I see him at the cross country circuit in the fall. So
I mean, who isn't in love with his hair,
This is true. He's basically, it's going to be like Troy Polamalu, Patrick Mahomes, and him. And
he plays it up on his Instagram too. He's got like those modeling photos,
We got to come back to that. Remind me when we're done with this. We are going to come back to that. I'm trying to think who else we got. We got Drew Freeze. You would know this better because I think he's an Air Viper team member from Flagstaff. He won the Silverton Alpine Marathon last year, and he won Coldwater. And he signed up for Cocodona, which is interesting. This happened a lot on the women's side, especially. We're seeing a lot of folks who are signed up for this race that have a legit chance at like potentially getting this golden ticket, who are then also signed up for some 200 or 200 plus mile race later this season. So it's just an interesting thing to think about the psychology of folks and who might be going to this. We've got, who else do we have? We have Callan Khan, who is a defending USATF 50K champion, who won that at Comsit, I think. He was third place at Pioneer Spirit 50 miler, and he won the White Rock Ultra 50K last year. We've got, who else we got?
What's this note about Daniel Domrez? First at the Wild Hair 50 mile, never runs over 7-minute pace. What is this?
So this was, one, I think it's just like his training philosophy, but two, when I looked into his background, he has some really interesting races. He won Flat Top Mesa 55K. He won Wild Hair 50 miler, and like the rest of his races were timed races. So like he won an 8-hour event last year. So it's just we don't see a lot of folks who are competitive at this type of event who have a long history of timed races, but that seems to be his thing. He's very much like methodical rhythm runner. I'm gonna throw some quality segments down. So who knows? This could be like another CJ Albertson. I'm just gonna go out hard and train aggressively all the time situation. I don't know. But if we're talking about who the hell is this guy moments, that's what I had when I was looking up Chris Andrews. The only result he has on Ultra sign up is in 8th place at the Montana Del Oro 50K. But he's in the first wave. So like, I don't know. You might have to give me some background on that one. I don't know what was in his application. But there might be some college stuff back there.
Let's not get super into that. I wasn't exactly involved in all of the wave one, and I probably should have been. But I don't want to. We're just gonna, move on from that.
I'm not gonna drag people. I'm just saying. Yeah. That's just, I literally have a note in my spreadsheet that says, who the hell is this guy? So that's the energy that I'm going to be bringing to this.
That you didn't see.
Exactly. And I went deep in the cut on some people. So a couple other folks I want to highlight. Rory Moynihan is an old staple of the Air Viper running community up in Flagstaff, Arizona now. Has done some, I think he did Carbon X1. He's been top 2 at the Black Canyon 60K. So excited to see what he does here at the 100K distance and what he can put together. Tyler Wolff, who was 3rd place at 2019's edition of the Canyons 100K. He's a Bay Area cat. So he's got Tamalpa Headlands, top 3 finishes, way too cool, podium or podium adjacent finishes. We've got your brother somehow bouncing back from his performance at Desert Solstice and the 155.41 mile performance over the 24-hour period, but also the defending runner-up at Javelina 100. And so clearly he has some wheels on trails.
And we might have a couple special check-ins from Nick during the live stream, apparently.
I would hope not if he's competitively running, but if he just wants to wave, that's cool.
I mean, he said he might carry his phone, and I'm going to send him the link to check in if he feels like it. Like maybe if he's on, let's hope he never checks in and has just like a killer run. But maybe if he has a little struggle sesh, he'll, or it'd be like Killian at UTMB that one year when he's just like Facebook Live for the first 30 minutes of the race.
Oh man.
Or at least, if nothing else, maybe like walking up into the corral. That would be like a pretty sweet little view right there. I'll see if he can give us that.
Okay, I'm not mad about it. If that's what he's gonna bring to the table, that's all good for me. A few last people. Jesse Haynes, who took 5th place at this race last year, is back for redemption. He's also taken 3rd at Sean O'Brien in the past. Took 8th place at Western States back in 2017. So grizzled vet in this, and some young bucks that we definitely have to watch out for because they might pop off and do something nuts. We have Michael Eaton, 3-time Olympic trials qualifier in the marathon, has a 2:18:31 personal best at the marathon. And so I had to dig into this USATF profile. He represented the U.S. at the 2012 World Half Marathon Championships and at the World Junior Cross Country Championships while he was a senior in high school. So not somebody who shies away from pressure situations, has represented the country well. So he brings some speed to the table. And then we have Nick Hilton, not to be outdone, 2-time Olympic trials qualifier, but has a 2:16 marathon best. So, put it together. That not his best race, I don't think, in Atlanta this past February. But moving on up, a Flagstaff kid himself. So may have also been able to come down and recon the course a little bit, so he knows what he's getting himself into. So get excited. We got a lot of folks, and I have literally another 50 some odd people on this spreadsheet.
we've got people are getting rowdy in the chat room right now. So
all right,
Kate Somerville, the ladies, question mark, and also Jason, what about the ladies? So, I mean, what's going on?
All right, let's talk about the ladies.
We're getting to them. We're not. I mean, this podcast is not even close to being over. I mean, typically we go about an hour and a half, so we're still got about 30 minutes to go.
Oh yeah. Oh, trust me, we can dedicate 29 and a half of those to the women and still not be able to cover everything. So, going back to Treeline Journal, who they've highlighted, independent source. You got Addie, you got Addie Bracy coming back.
This is not sponsored. Hashtag run flat.
Hey, what do you want me to do? So we got Addie Bracy towing the line. We got Brittany Peterson towing the line. We have Emily Hoggard, Michelle Hummel, Sandy Nypaver, and Sarah Keys are the 6 that the Treeline Journal has highlighted to watch.
Which is interesting because the list, if you go beyond that, is so stacked as well. Like you could just keep going and going. Yeah.
I'm just going to do that. I'm going to try to be as quick as possible because I don't want people to swing the other way on the pendulum, but let's just walk through this first wave of women. All right. So you got Addie Bracy, who already has punched her ticket to Western States. She doesn't need this. She's just here for fun and to dominate. She took 9th place at Western States in 2019. She won Quad Rock last year. And so she's towing the line. As we mentioned, Brittany Peterson, the defending runner-up at Western States back in 2019, went on to take 19th place at CCC that same year. So she's towing the line. So there's a very real chance what you brought up earlier about the tickets only rolling down to 5th place maximum. We could see the top 2 potentially already be people who are in this race, and so that race for 3rd and 4th could be very important. But let's walk through the rest of this. So you have Aubrey Rochelle, or I'm going to say that's how you pronounce it. She took 7th place at Pioneer Spirit 50 last year. She took 9th place at the Three Sisters Skyline 50K. And her Instagram makes us believe that she's in shape. Brianna, I'm just going to put it out there. I went deep in preparation for this commentating. Brianna Grigsby, she took 2nd place at the 60K at Black Canyon last year, 3rd place at the Georgia Death Race. She won the 52K at Mogollon Monster last year, and she's already won the Coldwater Rumble 52K just a few weeks back.
So the racing team, and she signed up for Cocodona 250.
Exactly. Which again, there's like 4 different women who've signed up for a 200 miler, but we'll tap back in. So Caitlin Vandenberg, she has a 14th place at Bear in 2019, got a 15th place at Bear 100 in 2020. She also on a current win streak, just won the Grandmaster Ultras 51K this past month. And speaking of folks who are in for 200, she's already signed up for the Tahoe 200. So that would be I haven't seen many people do the Western States to Tahoe 200 double, just like hang out in Tahoe.
Yeah,
from June to August. Yeah, do you? We have Cassandra Bergstrom, who took second place at the Ranch Marathon. Darcy Klaus, friend of the pod, who took third place at I Am Tough 100-mile last year, and then is the reigning runner-up at Javelina 100. Again, in a very solid time. So she's towing the line here. We have Dawn Greenwald, who took second place in last year's Mogollon Monster 105K and a seventh place at Whiskey Basin. One very technical course, one that is surprisingly technical. So this sort of situation, these trails at Black Canyon very much suit her strengths. Talk about Emily Hoggard in the tree line update. She took third place at Bandera. This is literally last month. So that's going to be an interesting thing to watch, how well she bounces back, to see if she's fresh enough, because she just missed out on that golden ticket opportunity. Otherwise, she won I Am Tough last year and is a 2-time winner of the American River 50 up here in Northern California. You've got Jenny Donnelly Grimshaw, who took second place at the Arches 50 miler last month. But she's another one of these folks who is coming from the roadside, got a lot of speed behind her. She's a 2:44 marathoner that she knocked out at CIM in 2019. And she just competed at the Take the Bridge Invitational here in San Francisco, going back to unsanctioned racing. So she just threw down, I think, a second place finish behind EO Wang out and back across the bridge. So if she's got that turnover right now and it comes down to a kick in that last 5K at Black Canyon, she might have the wheels to put on a show. It could also be Jenny Gormley. Things are crazy. So you got Jenny Gormley.
Totally.
It's all blending together. There's so much.
Did you mention Kaylee DeMergen?
No, dude, I'm still in the J's.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I told you this is insane.
There's 40 women in this second wave that are all super legit. This is exciting.
This is what I'm trying to convey to the people. So
Yeah.
Jenny Gormley, second place at Tusher 70K last year. And she's a past winner of the Silverton Alpine Marathon.
And again, living in Flagstaff, like access to the course.
Exactly. You have Kaylee, as you mentioned, Kaylee Demergian. She was third place at last year's Javelina 100 with which I think was her first 100-mile attempt. So very, very strong debut performance at the distance. She also won last year's San Diego 50 and was second place at the Pioneer Spirit 50. So, young upstart with a lot of potential. I think she's still coached by Pat Reagan. So we'll see how that translates over, because that seems to have been working well for folks in 2021 thus far. You got Kenna Brock, who took 14th place at this race last year, which is a strong improvement on her 31st place finish the year before. So this is somebody who's learned over time. Last year on the full course, did significantly better. So we'll see if she's learned from that experience, if she can bring that forward to this event. You got Carrie Wad. I have no idea how to pronounce that last name. So if somebody does, let me know so we don't screw this up on the live stream. But she took 5th place at Bandera last year, and she's also placed very well at Trans Rockies in the past. So somebody with a deep experience at long distances and just like grinding. You got Laura Swenson, who took 7th place at Whiskey Basin 60K last year. She took 6th place at Bryce Canyon 60K. So somebody who's definitely been focused on speed over the course of 2020 when the pandemic hit. Let's see if that translates over to some fast times on the 60K downhill before things get batty in the last 40K component of Black Canyon. Let me get a drink here. Hold on. This is just
take a little breather. I can. Do you want to take a little more time, or do you want me to jump in the chat?
No, I gotta go because I'm only in the L's.
Go.
Lindsay Ulrich, she took 9th place at this event in 2019. She won Suslaw Dunes last year and she just DNF'd Bandera. So let's see, if she pulled the plug early enough to say, hey, let me just shoot my shot at Black Canyon, somebody to definitely watch there. Lisa Roberts, very interesting person. She won the Javelina 100 last year. She won Cave Creek Thriller 50K last year. She also took dead fucking last, by her own description, at the Professional Triathletes Championship at Daytona last year. That's right. We're talking about an iron distance triathlete who's just like making the jump over to trails. She's undefeated in her ultras. She's a 6-time iron distance triathlon champion. And it looks like her triathlon days are maybe officially behind her now. So she's jumping full feet, both feet in to the trail scene. So we'll see what she brings to the table. Megan Bongartz took second place at Vermont 100K. We've got Megan Hummel, as we mentioned, second place in 2019 at Speed Goat, then came back last year to win the whole damn thing. Maria Vargas has a ton of experience at Black Canyon, like one of the people who showed up, who's been here probably like 3 or 4 times, and highlighted by that 7th place finish that she had here last year. Rebecca Wendell, she won Run the Rock. I think that's a typo on my part. She won Run the Rock 50K. She was 5th place at Speed Goat. Ruth Senior, another person who is completely undefeated in ultras. She only runs like one every like 19 months, but she won Dead Horse 50K. She won Monument Valley 50 miler in 2019, and then like had nothing in 2020. So like she's eyeing this. We'll see what happens. Sandy Nypaver of the Coach Sandy fame up in Boulder, Colorado, won
Running Wild YouTube channel.
There, exactly. She won Moab Red Hot 55K in 2019. She was second place at 9 trails. So, she hasn't excelled much at this specific distance in recent years. So it'll be interesting to see, what she brings to the table, but she's definitely had the time to prepare and, from just like a coaching standpoint, knows exactly what she needs to do to excel here, especially because she helps Coach Sage, who holds the course record on the men's side for the full course. Sarah Keys, she is basically, she took 36th place at Western States in 2017, and definitely looking for redemption. She's had some pretty solid finishes over 100K and 50-mile distance, and has slowly been progressing since her time at Western States. So she's definitely due to get back and basically just wreck some stuff. We got Swarpa Kodka, 5th place at Pikes Peak last year. Teresa Kaiser, last year's winner of the Georgia Death Race. So, like, I'm kind of confused why she might need to be here. There might be another situation where she already has a golden ticket. I got to double check that one. But if that's the case and we end up with 3 people who've already got golden tickets in the top 3, then all hell's going to break loose for 4th and 5th place.
Because it doesn't roll to 6th.
It doesn't. It straight up does not.
That's crazy.
And there's going to be nobody out there to like yell at them like, hey,
I don't think that's ever happened. I don't think it's ever not rolled to someone.
Yeah.
Because you would have to have a pretty competitive field for that to happen.
Yeah. And the last person in the first wave that I have here, Vivian Carrasco, the winner of this year's Santan Scramble 50K. So, and she won last year's Austin Rattler 66K. Has multiple top 10 finishes at Bandera. Now's the time to make that jump and see what she can put together. Clearly in shape based on that Santan result. So, yeah, okay, that's the win, and that's only the first wave. There are some folks.
And that's the thing. We weren't. I mean, it's a crazy thing because normally it's just a mass start. Everyone's in the same wave. Like they're all on the track. There's 600 people. And this year it's it's a little bit partitioned out. And just for full disclosure, like no matter what wave you are starting in, like if you're in wave 6 and somehow you got seated back there, you can still get that golden ticket. Like we're going by your start time to your finish time, do the math, chip times the whole way down the trail. We're putting everything into like all of our resources into our timing, race day tracking system, live coverage. So hopefully we'll watch this happen and play out and give you that, all that commentary. We'll be doing some math, I'm sure, to make sure, like we'll keep our eye on the other waves as they make their way down the course and see if anyone's going to be in that range or not.
Yeah, I mean, Jamil can speak to this because he sort of opened the spreadsheet that I have, but it has historical times, it has all-time lists. We're looking at different split times that folks have historically run in the past because courses are not flat, so we don't think even pacing will be a thing. So we're definitely going to be making sure that if anybody from the non-first wave of that gender is making a move, everyone who's watching knows about it. So,
we can't guarantee like footage from all the waves. I'm doing my best to make sure we have as much women's coverage as well as the men's. Like we're going to have people hanging back at aid stations, making sure that as that, lead women's pack comes through, we're getting as much coverage as we can of them as well, while also staying ahead of the men's at the front of the pack. So.
Yeah, and we'll be watching the splits come through at different timing mats and everything that's happening. So even if it's not on camera, we'll be trying to keep you guys up to date on the race that's happening. We'll do a better job than Carbonex of letting you know how gaps are closing. We'll put it that way. So. So plug for watching.
I can't guarantee I can't guarantee like the overlays will show the like current distance of Jim Walmsley, but. We'll try and tell you where he's at the best we can.
This is very true. So super excited about it. And there's more work for us to do to prepare for this live stream for sure. But just running through this preview and getting ready for it, highlights the depth of these races, how super competitive it can be. And I'm super excited to watch it as a fan and to be able to help folks enjoy the experience live with us on Saturday. So definitely make sure you subscribe over at the, I'm assuming, Steep Life channel. Aeroviper Running. Okay.
Aeroviper Running YouTube, Aeroviper Running Facebook. We'll probably even throw it towards Periscope, so it's on Twitter. I mean, why not? We can just simulcast it.
Yeah.
There was a lot of chat blowing up.
I can only imagine.
Are you ready to get into that?
Give it to me so I can get ready to just click a bunch of links and
first off,
Michael, get ready.
First off, Michael Butler says the best meme from 2 live streams ago, you're going to choke on a nut. I think I might have said that. Who knows? Jeff Elliott. On the women's side, Sandy Nypaver, we just touched on this one, but Sandy Nypaver is running Black Canyon and mentioned possibly getting a golden ticket without being top 2. So we just mentioned that, like Addie Bracey and Brittany Peterson, both in Western States. There was even another one I think you just mentioned.
Yeah, let me dig into that.
Technically, you could place 4th and 5th at this race and get golden tickets, which is pretty cool to see.
So while we're on the topic, so Teresa Kaiser, who was the winner of last year's Georgia Death Race, is not currently registered for Western States.
Well, Georgia Death Race wasn't a golden ticket race last year.
Exactly. So, and then the one where it was, she took 3rd, so did not have the rollover there. So apparently she's just super in shape, and and this is going to be crazy to watch. She's also one of, we were talking about a lot of the women and some of the men, but definitely a lot of the women have signed up for 200+ mile distances, either Moab, Tahoe, or Cocodona. She's actually one of the many women who've also signed up for Run Rabbit Run. So not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but there's a lot of folks going through this that, Black Canyon could be a nice little primer to prepare yourself for Run Rabbit Run in September. We're going to see a lot of the same faces.
Someone asked, have I ever run Western States? And is there a video? Yep. I ran in 2010. Have you seen Unbreakable? I'm just kidding. That was the year of Unbreakable. I was not in the film, a little bit under the radar. There might be a couple of images floating around the internet, me with short hair, but no, I don't think there was a video about that one, about me specifically. Yeah. I got in back in the day when there was the 2-time loser rule. You don't get pulled twice. You get a guaranteed entry. Those are the days.
Definitely not the case anymore.
Let's see. Watch out for Nick Hilton. Here we go. All right. This one sparked a little bit of back and forth in the chat here. We got, I was talking about my plans to go to Tennessee to train. So plans of traveling to Frozen Head to train. How do you square that with COVID? Flying cross country to run at a certain park when you have trails outside sounds less critical and more privileged. So I guess calling me out there on that one. Yeah, I would say there's certainly a risk for traveling in a COVID era. I'm doing my best day to day to follow all the CDC protocols. Whenever I'm around people, I'm wearing a KN95 mask here at the office as much as possible, not interacting with people, not interacting with anyone outside my household without a mask on. As far as travel goes, I'm going to be wearing a P100 respirator. So I'm going to look like I'm wearing a gas mask. Yep, that's going to be me on the plane. As far as like the reason for going, for me personally, it gets me out of my normal routine where I wouldn't be able to spend an entire, basically like 40-hour work week training in the woods with little to no distractions. It gets me into the woods to train in the elements and to familiarize me with the course of Barkley again. So I'm taking my best precautions I can, and that's how I'm justifying it personally. Of course, you can take that for what it's worth. I don't know.
That's fair. I mean, and officially, the CDC guidance would be to test before departure for anyone. This isn't just true for Jamil's particular circumstance.
There you go.
Test within 72 hours of departure and get the result back, and then test on the inbound side to make sure.
All right. Yeah. Well, then I was like, I need to do that.
I already got mine in the mail today before we go to Phoenix, so got you covered.
Awesome. Yeah, I just had one of my media guys coming in from California just sent me his result as well. So it's good to see that stuff. Continuing on. Hey, did Taggart Van Etten reach out to enter? I know I invited him for sure. But it sounds like, like the commenter here says, wasn't sure if he could get off work. So there we go.
That would have been nuts.
Now there's some talk about the Whiskey Man. I'd like to see the Whiskey Man enter Barkley. He's actually attempted it. Maybe back in like 2017, I'm going to say he was out there. Mm-hmm. And we were working together, and then we were shooting down. It was a counterclockwise loop after getting book one, and he shifted a little to the left. I was yelling at him, and he was just gone. He just didn't hear us, didn't turn back. And it's like, I'm not going to go chasing someone down in the wrong direction at the Barkley. Like, you got to watch out for yourself at some point. So that was the end of the Whiskey Man at Barkley. He hasn't come back since. We need more Whiskey Man in the Run Steep Get High vlogs. So funny enough, I actually just texted him last night, and I just said, Cocodona? ? And I guess he's in. So such a Versteeg move right there.
Yeah,
that's for sure. It's like, yeah, sounds good. Okay.
I'll be there.
Let's see.
Oh, wild, man.
Ladies. Talking about the ladies. Anyone remember when Jamil made that brown paper thing when he tracked his elevation gain? Loved that. Bring it back. Those were the days when we launched the Run Steep channel. Stoked that Sandy is running, but is Sage ever going to run/race again? What do you think?
I mean, in life, yes. For Black Canyon,
still the course record holder on the original course. So I know that Treeline Journal mentioned Matt Daniels' run, but of course, if you dig deeper, that was on a modified course that was like a ton of road running, actually. So we do not consider that the true course record. You got to look to Sage's course record, run on a hot day. So impressive stuff. No one's yet beat it.
Yeah, I still don't know. I think the shorter stuff is Sage's wheelhouse. Like I think he's underperformed expectations, or I guess people's expectations, when it comes to like 100 miles and up. But you put him on anything that's, 50K, 50 mile, sky running type stuff. That's his bread and butter. So I think like Black Canyon and the 100K might be like the upper boundary of his, like, if we expect him to win a race, that might be where he's at currently. Don't get me wrong. Like, I would love for him to prove me wrong, but yeah, I think we'll see him at the 100K distance. I just don't know if this specific event with a golden ticket on the line, I don't know if that necessarily sets him up for success. I don't think he had the greatest Western States run after that Black Canyon. I don't know if he's ever really had a good Western States run, or one that he would consider good. So yeah, that's my 2 cents. You can ask him.
We got a question about Colorado here, so maybe Skyler, you can help weigh in on this one. But what is the best Colorado town for a family summer vacation where I can run good trails? Silverton, Aspen, Leadville?
Oh, okay. That's tricky. Depends on what type of trails you're getting into and what sort of event, like family events, you want to get into. You can speak to Silverton much more than I can. You spend like an entire month there. Steamboat, I think, is underappreciated. I was there for all of like 3 days last summer, and it was awesome. I would go back. The river, at parts, does smell like a septic tank. So if you can get past that, then it's fine. But that's just helpful hints. Put that in your travel book. I think Aspen is fine. You gotta, honestly, anywhere you have to like travel next to a ski resort, you're just gonna be stuck in the car for a long time. So just prepare for that. I'm a big fan of like Estes Park up through like Grand Lake, like that whole arc up whatever those 2 highways are. That works. You really can't go wrong with Colorado in the summer, like at least the first part, because otherwise then you start getting stormed on and lightning strikes become a thing while you're out on the trail. But yeah, you got some good options pretty much anywhere you go.
Got Nancy Hobbs in the chat room. And as a Coloradan, mountain towns have great trails: Crested Butte, Vail, Silverton, Aspen, but don't count out Buena Vista, Salida, Estes Park, to name a few. So I'm just going to throw it straight to her on that one. Yep. We also got Rob Ricardo in the chat room here for the Colorado question. Telluride is probably the best for family vacation with great trail options. That's a good one. Like, they got a great main street, lots to do there, great parks. And they've got like the gondola ride you can take up to Mountain Village with it's like a European ski town up there. And then the trails, are steep. And I would say like Silverton is, like, I love Silverton. I'll always have a special place for Silverton in my heart, but like trail access from town, I would say lacking. Whereas Telluride's got, I think, a lot more variety. It's all steep right out of there as well, but Silverton, you kind of need to know where to go. There's like not super great trails right out of town. And then of course, like Ice Lakes Trail is now like completely overrun and it got destroyed by COVID vacationers and whatnot. So unfortunately. Let's see. Estes Park. Oh yeah, there's like a lot more going on in the chat. So I'll just let you guys talk about that.
Apparently we have a new vlog series we got to make, which is
I feel like Breckenridge, actually. Tina chiming in here. Tina's going to be part of our live stream team on Saturday. Appreciate you. Yeah, Rob also chimes in. You can get on the Hard Rock course from Telluride as well, Bear Creek Trail. So lots of good. Oh yeah, and then there's like the falls right out of town too. So there's a lot of great stuff in Telluride for sure.
Honestly, if you're in Telluride, just go to that weird music festival that happens during Hard Rock. That thing, we were there for like 3 hours accidentally, and it was just comedy. I was not prepared for that. So I don't know if it's family friendly, but if it's happening, check that out.
Yeah. Cool. We're kind of winding down the show this week. Do you have anything else to share? What do we do in this part of the show? I can't even remember.
We normally just take broad Q&A, but I feel like people...
broad Q&A. Let's go. It's kind of been broad Q&A, but let's get even broader if we want. Or more specific, or more weird. I don't
know. We did have one question I think that we have not gotten to that was submitted from social media ahead of time. So I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on this, Jamil. How many running photos are too many running photos on someone's dating profile?
You're asking me.
Yeah.
Like I must have come up with some dating apps.
Listen, this is what was submitted.
Probably more than one. Is that the right answer?
I don't know if there's a right answer. I guess it depends on your target demographic, but
yeah, I would say more than one is too many. I don't know. One or two is fine. How many are on a dating profile typically? How many photos?
6.
Okay. So two out of 6. You gotta have at least something else going on. I mean, I don't, but just kidding.
I mean,
hey, we got some Skyler questions rolling in now.
Why?
Is Skyler running a marathon anytime soon?
I wish I knew. Yeah, I mean, a lot of this
is a marathon happening anytime soon is the question.
It's not that I don't want to. I'm just waiting to hear back on either Boston or New York. So those would be the first two to come down the pipeline. I don't have any plans to do a virtual marathon or time trial marathon before the fall. So I'm just kind of, I have other things I want to accomplish before turning my attention to Boston or New York. But until the new standards come out for Boston, or the determination whether or not I get in this year versus 2022 or 2023 for New York, I just don't know. So I'm just trying to get loosely in shape and be ready for whatever opportunity comes along.
We've got a question in the chat here from, I'm just gonna call it numbers instead of saying it over and over. Oh wait, there we go. There's many questions by numbers. Can Skyler do, and this might be a good one for, this might just be a general channel video that we can do, maybe a collab video, a what I eat in a day video.
Okay, listen, it's hilarious. I was actually thinking about this like this morning. I don't know what it is that it feels like every running YouTuber has done this, what I eat in a day, over the last 3 weeks. And
I think we just need to pick a topic each week. We each do our version of it, and then we just mesh it all together as one video,
I'm down for it. I listen, we can do it. After last week's production meeting we had publicly about the status of the vlog, this is good of content as any. I actually, because I am trying to be more taking this in a actually serious way, because I am trying to be more mindful of what I'm eating now. I think it might actually be helpful to folks, but I think we just have to do it. Also, I can't show you guys when I'm at work, so it has to be a day when I'm working from home. But we'll figure it out. If that's something y'all want, I eat some weird stuff. I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty sure people will be surprised. And birthday cake Kit Kats are still the jam. So
yes,
get excited. Yeah,
love it. All right, Jamil. This is from numbers again. Jamil qualified for Boston, but no interest in running it. Here's the thing. When is Boston held typically?
Typically, the third Monday of April.
Okay.
It'd be a pretty tight Barkley turnaround.
Yeah, I did Whiskey Man after Barkley one year, so it is possible. It is possible. I would say I ran a lot of ultras before I towed the line on my first road marathon at New York, and I was pretty satisfied with that run. That was awesome. So I currently don't have a burning desire to run Boston, but maybe I should. I've got some other fish to fry right now, but I'll probably come around to it at some point.
Yeah, I mean, the hardest thing for you would be the fact you really have to run 2 marathons because you have to run the qualifier.
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, no, not from a time perspective, more just all right, well, I got to go run 3 hours on the road, which is not really what lights your fire. But I think you would enjoy Boston. I think I've said this before, but Boston was the closest thing to being at an ultra that I've ever experienced in the road racing scene. The noise, the fan support, all of that was just so hype. Haven't run New York, so it might be very similar there, less the bridges. But Boston, from literally the gun to the finish line, was just mayhem. So hoping to get back this year, hoping that it looks something kind of like normal. And you should come on down, buddy. 2022. Let's make it happen.
Sounds good. Anything else until we meet in a few days?
Yeah, I mean, if people can get enough of us on our 10 hours of live coverage on Saturday. So if you have not already done so, make sure you hop over. Well, first, before you leave this page, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button on this. Cool. You do that. Then you just go up to the top, type in Air Viper Running, go over to the channel, subscribe, get ready. We're going to be covering it from the gun all the way to the finish.
Yeah, if you like that, if you like the coverage, share it all over the place on race day. Hopefully it turns out well. I mean, if it's trash, then just turn it off. So actually don't. Just keep watching.
No. I mean, harass us at least. Like, get your money's worth.
At least give us some shit for it. Okay,
no, we're gonna be doing some stuff.
Right when we're trying to wind down the show, that's when the comment section just starts popping off, and that's what's happening right now. So I just can't even keep up with this. Charlie Seymour episode next week. Absolutely, I'm gonna do it from my Airbnb in Tennessee. So I'll have to just, I'll probably timeout.
Oh no, you can finish your. I want to timeout after this.
Okay, great. Yeah, I will make sure that happens. What's the timeout?
Charlie Seymour. You tweeted us about Total Running Productions and the crap we gave them last week.
Oh, yes.
Were you serious in that tweet, or were you just trying to be sarcastic? Because I still don't know. That's it.
There's another YouTube channel that I think I started watching a Total Running Productions video, and then another video called The Runner. It's a YouTube channel called The Runner. It popped up, and it's the same thing. Anyways, he was serious. He was serious.
Yeah, no, I'm not rolling. I'm sorry.
Okay.
That's it. That's done.
We might have just lost a subscriber here. Boston is way overrated, not worth the hassle.
Incorrect.
That was from me, S, okay?
Okay. That's just incorrect, but you're entitled.
We had Nancy Hobbs wants to see us do a cross-training video.
Well, by this time next week, I think I will have a Peloton. So,
and someone suggested I could be on the rowing machine because I do have one of those in my room.
Let's do it.
Charlie Seymour says, I think Jamila Skyler's speed golf video would be amusing. Well, you know what we should do? We should actually do real speed golf, and then we can release the two at the same time. I like this idea. I like this idea a lot. But we should maybe collab with the guy that's all about the speed golf. Maybe Speed Goat himself. Or what's the guy, the baseball player's name? Rob, we need to start making some connections here. We need collab. YouTube collabs. Let's do it.
I'm going to need so much of a head start on speed golf. I'm going to need so many strokes.
Carl Meltzer is doing Cocodona, by the way. Shout out to the Speed Goat. 100 miles is too far, not far enough. Whatever he says. That's amazing. All right, the comments is getting out of control. We're gonna I'm gonna play the theme song again, round 2. We're gonna close this thing out.
All right, cool.
One stream, two guys. Now here's your host.
That was stuck in my head the whole day, by the way. We filmed it yesterday. It's so good. Thanks to John Heiner on that one again. We're going to have every week, we're going to get a little more professional, add something new into the mix here. At some point, we'll do a really sweet merch drop all around this ridiculousness, and it's going to be good times. Eric Burns, that's the guy, speed golf guy.
Okay, sweet.
Close it out. I will see you in a couple of days, sir. We're going to spend a lot of time together. I think we're going to need to get lots of snacks and stock up the fridges and all the good things. We're doing some pre-recorded stuff so we can give ourselves little bathroom breaks and little snack breaks. It's going to be really legit. Anything else you want to close out with today?
No, I just want to thank everyone for tuning in live. Tuesdays coming at you all the time. So appreciate the support. If you're catching us later on the podcast version, make sure you still, show some love, 5-star reviews, and share to all your friends. Join us on Saturday for Black Canyon live coverage coming at you. 7 a.m. local time. When do we start?
Probably, I think we're going to start at 6:30. We're going to have a 30-minute pregame before we kick off at 6 a.m. Arizona time. If you want to catch this audio program, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Steep Life Media. Search that, and you'll find our audio program on there. And people are saying, destroy the like button, obliterate the like button, and we'll see you next week. Have a good one, folks. Bye.
Enjoy yourselves.